anyone is out there, I can provide food, I can provide shelter, I can provide security. If there's anybody out there, anybody, please, you are not alone.
Hey everyone, it's 1010 here. 10 minutes with 1010. Hopefully it will actually be 10 minutes long. But I wanted to discuss something really significant with the numerical significance of 1972, 172, or 72, okay? In any given order, right? So I was talking with Radx, the one from 72, and I suggest if you don't know much about the 1972 time hack, you go to his channel, RatX172, all right? And you can learn more about the time hack of 1972, or you can just go to the internet and look up all the significant events that took place in 1972, or you can look up pretty much event like September 11th and how that correlates back to 1972. You can look up CERN and see how CERN is in 1972 as well. A lot of our presidents and the significance behind what they did is in 1972 as well. Some major significant turning points in our world, in our country, occurred in 1972, and pretty much everything significant from that point on into today, you can probably go back and tie it to 1972. All right, so that being said, we'll talk about CERN. Now, I didn't really know much about CERN. This is another topic, and I'll be candid. I went to their website, and they're like, learn more about CERN. And I was like, okay, cool. So I clicked on the link, and I was like, what the hell is this? I don't know what they're talking about. So I spent a few moments researching and trying to understand more about CERN from a layman's perspective. I'm not a genius like most of these scientists, but I consider myself smart enough to follow along certain things and relay the information back. But the reason why I'm bringing up CERN is because there are quite a few numerical significances to 1972 and the numbers 172. All right, and while I was doing my research, I found this to be particularly interesting. CERN had a project going on, and it was called Inquire, and this was the World Wide Web. So CERN was responsible, in essence, for the World Wide Web, some of the people that worked there. All right, so we're going to learn a little bit about the Large Hadron Collider and what it does. What exactly does it, what do they even use it for? Like, what's its purpose, right? So according to CERN, the goal of the Hadron Collider is to understand the nature of the most basic building blocks of the universe and how they interact with each other. All right? So a little bit more about the Hadron Collider, because we're talking about numerical significance. The Hadron Collider is 17 miles, and it smashes two particles together. So the numerical significance is 172. Again, like a fingerprint from the time hack that occurred in 1972. Now, in 2017, the Large Hadron Collider was restarted or reset after 17 weeks. Okay? So the reason why this is significant is because, again, we're looking at 2017, the significance of those numbers, 172, all right? And the fact that it was restarted and reset after 17 weeks. They could have picked any amount of numbers, but they were like, hey, 17 weeks, perfect. the thing is that this reset does occur each year, but it happened to be the longest in 2017. Taking the longest amount of times, normally like 15 or 16 weeks. This time it was 17 weeks. And they said the reason why they wanted to do this reset is because they wanted to increase luminosity. Okay? And more collision. They wanted more collision to happen. So they spent more time on the machine to create this. All right? So when you think about that, is CERN, or this Large Hadron Collider machine, some type of time machine? Or does it have the ability to hack time? There's a good chance that it does. Or create some kind of portal that allows other alien species to come into our atmosphere. Like in 2017, Oumuamua came. In 2017, Brad X had his experience with the Draconian. Okay, 3 days, 72 hours after the eclipse. These are significant things that occurred. All right, so whether a time machine or some type of time hack that also took place in 2017 as well as 1972, the most significant year for a time hack was 1972. Something happened. All right, and I even looked up, I went back to the cube. All right, then go back and watch my video about the black cube. I even looked up the black cube 1972, and it took me to the Twin Towers. Okay, and the owner of the company who ran security for the Twin Towers. I'm not going to say who they are. I would suggest you go back and research that. I don't want to get knocked off of YouTube. So, there's also more significance. I don't know if many of you are familiar with the God particle. A lot of scientists, they don't call it the God particle, but it's a general term that a lot of people use and are familiar with when it comes to Higgs boson. I hope I'm saying that right. It's B-O-S-O-N. And Peter Higgs found this particle, okay? And this is what was located, I guess, in the Hadron Collider. And it was done July 2012. So that's 7/20/12. Again, the numerical significance tying us back to 1972. Also, another interesting part is that when Higgs created, or I shouldn't say created, but when he found this God particle, other researchers added to the development of this particle in 1972. Okay? So, here we have CERN, which is, this one is located in Switzerland, and there's a couple of them, I believe, in the world. And the most active is the one in Geneva, which is a neutral place, which is also interesting because the number 72 is average. It's neutral. It's a neutral pH. It's a comfortable temperature that people like to be at, 72. All right, so Switzerland makes sense. They're a neutral country. So let's put it in a neutral zone. All right, so again, going back to CERN and their Hadron Collider, 17 miles long, it smashes two particles together. Now, some people have their thoughts on what CERN is or what it could be, but Radix and I were talking earlier, and we think that it is some type of time machine, or it has the ability to hack time. And that's one of the main reasons why they do it.